All right, so let's jump to where Harvard's at, and we won't rush as I intended. Breaking, Harvard just released its final report on anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias. It's 300 plus pages and pretty devastating to read. I thought I knew what was going on at Harvard, but even I wasn't prepared for this. Let's break down the most shocking parts. A Jewish student was told they couldn't share their story of their Holocaust survivor grandfather's rescue efforts because he helped Jews reach British Mandate Palestine. Organizers said it was not tasteful and inherently one-sided because it mentioned Israel. Many Jewish and Israeli students were told their presence was offensive. Some were asked to denounce Israel to be considered one of the good ones. This came from every part of campus, including peers, instructors, and faculty. At a Harvard law event for families of the hostages, Harvard chose to move the Jewish students for safety reasons while protesters roamed around freely. In a university-wide survey, most respondents said they do not feel safe expressing their political views. So, okay, there's one portion, and I want to just show you this chart. It's rather shocking, or not, I suppose. This is a chart of Harvard applicants having different admission chances based on race. If you are Asian and you apply to Harvard, you have a 12.7% chance of getting in. If you are African American, it's 56.1. We know they discriminate also against Jews. I have no doubt, I don't know the numbers on this, but I have no doubt they discriminate against Indians. So let's do the latter part first. The Supreme Court ruled that Harvard and places of higher education cannot discriminate based on race, yet Harvard clearly has been doing this. They've been doing this for decades, by the way. Where do you fall on that?
Well, look, even our military academies, the Supreme Court has ruled for them that you can have diversity as part of the consideration. I think you need diversity. I got into, I went to Yale Law School. It's possible Usha Vance got into Yale Law School. I'm grateful that my class there and my class in college were diverse classes. Now, I think that should be one criteria. Obviously,
but did you get in with lesser grades than a white person, and would that have been fair?
I think I did well as a student, but the point is that it's fine to look at the totality of a person, their resilience, their grit, their extracurriculars, their.
But does any of that have to do with race? I mean, that seems to what it all boils down to. Fine, you could take extra Spanish after school, and you can volunteer and sell Girl Scout cookies. But what does this have to do with race?
Well, look, I do believe, as the Supreme Court said for our military academies, that race and diversity of race is an important consideration. Why did they say that for the military academies? Why can military academies take race into consideration? Because they want our military to have to reflect the population. Well, if you believe Harvard is a place where future leaders in different areas come out of, then you want it to have a reflection about of the country. But there shouldn't be quotas, and we certainly shouldn't be saving spots for people based on race.
Well, but how is that different than quotas? If race is going to be a consideration? I mean, if you had an Asian kid and a white kid and they had exactly, or if you have an Asian kid, a white kid, and a black kid, and they all have exactly the same grades and qualifications, in essence, you're saying put the black kid in, correct?
I don't think it's that simple where it's just everything is equal. I think you look at the life stories and the complexity of it, and you have race as one consideration, but you can't just say we're going to save X amount of spots for black kids or Latino kids. Do it the way the military academies do, West Point and the Naval Academy. My view is, having talked to a lot of cadets, that they're very, very qualified, and they're also diverse, and they're doing extraordinary work for our country.
So, all right, so if 56% of black kids that apply to Harvard get in and only 12% of Asians, do you see a problem with that?
Is that recent? Is that after the decision or before the decision, those numbers?
It has to be, if it's legal, it has to be before, because now just in the last 2 years is when the ruling came down.
Yeah, I would want to make sure that they weren't saying X number of people of a certain race need to get in, and that it's actually a consideration, but not dispositive. And I don't, obviously I'm not involved in Harvard's admission, so I don't know the details, but I want to make sure that there weren't anything close to quota.